Greetings, Arts Beatniks. It's the KC Arts Beat Report. I'm Patrick Neas. Thanks for joining me. Boy, we have a full house today. And some amazing singers, a woman who is really doing great work in the community, and the director of one of Kansas City area's church's best choirs. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to KC Arts Beat on YouTube and also subscribe to us on Substack. We send out great articles regularly, and follow us on Facebook and on every social media. We are always posting interesting stuff about the arts, not just in Kansas City, but around the world. But right now, I'd like to say hello to our good friend, Will Breytspraak, who is the director of music at St. Peter's Catholic Church. It's a church that,
Hi, Patrick.
we don't give a lot of attention to, but you're doing some great work there, Will. Can you
Yeah,
tell
I'm
me about
loving serving St. Peter's over in Brookside. If you don't know where St. Peter's is, you probably know Meyer Circle on Ward Parkway, and if you head from there to the east, you'll find us.
It's a beautiful looking church just on the outside. Looks very
It
gothic.
it is, and I'm very excited to explore the beauty of the inside of it in new ways with New York Polyphony in just
Well,
about 10 days.
it's so great that you kind of are starting to present concerts there at St. Peter's. And this is New York Polyphony. They're going to be performing at 7:30 p.m. January 22nd at St. Peter's Catholic Church, 815 East Meyer Boulevard.
It's
Oh,
7 p.m., so I do want to chime in with that.
okay, it's 7 p.m. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, and it's there at 8 in Brookside. Are there tickets or?
We're really thrilled that due to the generosity of a few of our members, we're able to offer this concert for free. And we just want to also take it as a special opportunity to draw awareness to the needs of our food pantry, headed by Nicolette here on the call.
Great. Well, which would you like to talk to first, members of New York Polyphony or Nicolette?
Well, that sounds like a natural pass. Nicolette, could you tell us a little bit about what you do at the food pantry ahead of this free will offering at the concert?
So yes, our pantry is housed within the parish and it supports anybody who's hungry. So anything unique about us is that we don't operate strictly within our parish boundaries. If someone shows up to our door or calls us and says they're hungry, we will serve them. So, on average, we serve around 46 households a month. It's around 155 individuals comprised of seniors, some adults, some with disabilities, and children. We give out almost 20,000 pounds of food over the course of the year. Our biggest events of the year in terms of our giving, in addition to the monthly um, food pantry visits, we also hand out a full Thanksgiving meal to all of our clients. And then over the Christmas holiday, we serve 100 families, providing them with a full Christmas dinner, extra groceries for the new year, and then we provide each family member with a stocking stuffer. So that would be things like, full size body wash or full size shampoo or soap, a whole package of toilet paper, which sounds, something so small to us, maybe if that those of us that can afford it. But oftentimes those hygiene items are very expensive and not covered by food stamps or SNAP benefits. So it's extremely helpful. And everybody who gets a bag is so grateful for that.
That sounds great, Nicolette. Sounds like you're doing really good work. That's fantastic. Well, now let's talk about the music happening on January 22nd. Will, why don't you introduce your special guests here?
Yeah, well, I'm thrilled that we have Andrew and Steven with New York Polyphony. And my old friend from the group is Jeff Williams, countertenor. So he's the one that I know best. So this is a great opportunity for me to get to know these two a little bit better as well.
That's excellent. Andrew, tell me what's unique about New York Polyphony, because there are lots of choral groups out there. I have a hunch
Yeah,
you have a distinctive flavor.
there are. We are one of the only, to my knowledge,
I would
actively.
say the only.
maybe the only, at least working at the level that we are, of a tenor or of a male voice quartet. So there's just four of us, countertenor, two tenors, and bass. Um, and it's a very small ensemble. We don't use substitute singers like some other ensembles that are small do. It's when you hire New York Polyphony, you get the four of us, and we mostly, although there have been exceptions over the years, perform a cappella music. So just our voices as the instruments. There's no, piano or orchestra with us, and we perform quite a wide range of repertoire, mostly centered on the Renaissance and early music period, but we love kind of the interplay of old and new. So if we do new music, contemporary works, commissions, they almost always have something that's tethering them to the kind of traditions of early music, mostly Renaissance or medieval music.
How long
And
have
we
you guys,
tour all over the States and also abroad. Are very active in the touring world.
how long have you guys been together, and what kind of brought you together and made you decide to form this group?
I can answer that if you want.
Sure.
If that's okay with you, Patrick.
Oh, yeah, and then, by the way, this is Stephen Caldicott Wilson, who's the tenor of the group. So go ahead, Stephen.
Sure. So the group was founded in 2006 when neither Andrew or I were in the group yet. The Jeffrey Williams is one of the founding members, and Craig Phillips, our bass, is also the other founding member, who are both still in the group. In 2006, the original four were all in the choir at St. Mary the Virgin Times Square in New York City, and they were approached by a friend of Jeffrey's to record some incidental music for a passion play that was being produced for Public Radio International. And it was very serendipitous because Jeffrey already had a bunch of folks a bunch of men and actually women, because that original music that they recorded for that passion play included women. But he already basically had the group right in his pocket because of all of the people that he worked with at the church. So they did the music. The producer loved it and passed it along to a record label in London, who then signed them to their first recording, just as the quartet now of the men. And that became our first CD, which is a Christmas disc. And they really took off from there. They started getting bookings, but the recording was the first time that they had really sung together as a quartet. So they were getting bookings before they had ever actually performed live in front of an audience as a quartet. And really, the rest is a wonderful story of really hard work and dedication. I came in 2011 when our founding tenor, Jeffrey Silver, left to form what is now a very, very successful recording company and record label. And Andrew came in early 2020 when our baritone, Christopher Herbert, needed to retire in order to pursue his academic career. But we don't call Andrew Chris's replacement, because Chris is a very high baritone. Andrew is a true second tenor, but his voice is still a tenor, not a baritone. And so what bringing Andrew on did was this wonderful sort of raised our profile about 3 or 4 notes. So in technical terms, it opens us up to other repertoire that is really written for countertenor, tenor, and then baritone or bass. So yeah, that's the story of our history.
That's excellent. Wonderful. I was looking at the repertoire for your concert coming up in Kansas City. It looks very impressive. Can you guys tell us about it? Whoever wants to take that question?
Sure, I can start. I have it right here in front of me. One highlight, and as Andrew said, we do specialize in Renaissance polyphony, but we work with composers and we work with music that is in sort of a neo-classical style, neo-medieval style. So one of the real highlights for me of this program is this Sarah Quartel, this Endless Night, which is a piece that she composed on a medieval text. And it has to do with the the birth of Jesus and this dark, cold night and this wonderful beauty of the star appearing. And it's absolutely a stunning, stunning work that really does have a bit of an ancient feel to it, even though it's written in modern times.
Neat. Andrew, you want to tell us more?
Yeah, so this program, with the exception of the Quartel and one piece that we'll be singing with Will's parish choir, is all Renaissance, kind of either very early Renaissance or kind of true Renaissance. And then I lied, there's one piece that is kind of interesting. It's a collection of three songs from a 12th century manuscript that, for whatever reason, has survived all of these years. It was never meant to last this long. It was composed on or written down on very bad parchment. It was used as stuffing for other manuscripts of the time. It was really in terrible shape, and somehow over the years it's been kept alive, and people have restored it, and not without great efforts. Some pages have holes, and they've had to try to kind of sleuth what the notes might have been. But it's this great collection of 12th century, very old English songs that I'm always mystified that we're able to kind of touch such old history in modern times. I think it's very humbling and very kind of like zoom out on humanity when we get to experience something as old as that, which is one of the benefits, I think, just from a personal level of singing this repertoire, this medieval and Renaissance repertoire. It's such a window into the past. Kind of along those lines, we're doing a big mass by William Byrd, who is one of the most famous Renaissance composers from the English time. And his Mass for four voices was written just kind of at the end of the Reformation, when it was very dangerous to be a Catholic in Protestant England. And this piece was written kind of in secret. And it was, in a sense, very dangerous to write it, but also to perform it, if you will. We know that he never autographed the dates on the scores because I think that would have been a little too on the nose if he was ever found out for composing this piece. So there's a real, you know, there's always a historical edge to what we do, and I find that piece to be really interesting in that way, that it was never, I don't know, he was never kind of meant to be outed in that way. It was written in secret and for people who really needed that music at the time.
Yeah, those
Say the program really goes from Renaissance, mostly Renaissance, some earlier medieval things, and like Steve said, a really gem of a piece that's kind of neo-medieval in its roots.
But this music, even though it's ancient and hundreds of years old, when I listen to it, it has almost a timeless feel. Don't you think?
Yeah, Craig, our bass, has said, and I love this expression. He said that this is not a butterfly pinned to the wall. It is not something precious to be treated very sort of carefully or gently. It is music that was written at a time when things were really dangerous, and there was a time of great desperation, especially like Andrew said with William Byrd, always afraid he was going to get his head chopped off for being a reticent Catholic. And I think there's great drama in this music. Much of it was never intended to be sung in a concert setting. It was always meant to be sung liturgically. But yes, it does have this modern feel because of how we deliver it. We really sing it. We really sing into it. We don't try to make it seem like it's something that it's not. And we all have four very distinct individual voices. So we don't really try to sound like a choir. We really try to sound like four people coming to this music, each with our own set of values. Yeah.
Is there an overarching theme for this concert? Or is this just a really impressive selection of pieces?
Well, sort of. Interesting. You said it kind of feels timeless to you, and Jeffrey, who is our main music kind of guru when it comes to New York Polyphony, he developed this program, and he actually entitled it Eternity, and I think that does speak to both kind of the staying power of great music and great art over centuries. It does have an eternal quality to it. And also, a number of the pieces are from manuscripts that, for whatever reason, have been able to survive through wars and fires and political upheavals that are still with us to this day. So that's kind of a general theme, and within that, we have a lot of different interplay of different kind of musical characteristics within the Renaissance and medieval periods. So there's a lot of variety. It's not there; it's all, very sacred music, but given the different time periods within those two musical periods, there's a lot of variety in what you'll hear as well.
I've read about Bird's masses being performed in like house chapels.
Mhm.
These
Coat closets. They would smuggle a priest in, and they would have this mass said in a coat closet, and they would sing it probably one on a part. If you have a couple of minutes, I had two little sort of human interest stories to tie some of this together.
sure.
Our new disc, copies of which we will have for sale at the concert, um, features two pieces that I think are really interesting. That one of which is on this program, but the other is the six poems to the moon, which were the poetry was written by a 12th century mystic poet whose family wanted him to be in the military, and he chose not to. And we have 2,000 of his poems still to this day from the 12th century, and they are just the most beautiful little pieces of maybe 3 lines each of text. So occasionally we will sing that piece on the same program as these Cambridge songs. So we have Cambridge songs from the 12th century that were used to stuff organ pipes and make the bindings of other books. And we have 12th century poems by a Japanese mystic, set to music by a modern living female Japanese composer. So it's a wonderful way to sort of tie things together. The other interesting story about especially the Agnus Dei from the Bird Mass for Four Voices, is that Paul Moravec, who's one of our most important living American composers, heard us singing that movement from the Mass for Four Voices on YouTube very early in lockdown during COVID, and he was inspired to write us two settings of Walt Whitman texts, which he sent to us via email,
Hmm.
and those are on the new disc as well. We also do the Agnus Dei on the new disc with viols, colla parte, if you will, which is they're playing in unison with us, because a lot of scholars believe that Bird's music would have had instruments with it. So yeah, we really love these ways of connecting the dots and finding pathways between pieces to really add that element of interest.
Can people purchase this CD through your website?
Absolutely. It's available on all of the streamers, Apple Music, Amazon Music. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on our website. Absolutely.
What's your
It's called, our website is newyorkpolyphony.com.
Oh, great.
And the new disc is called Sky of My Heart, which is actually one of the lines from the Japanese poetry.
Wouldn't Bird be absolutely amazed to think that his music that he wrote for recusant Catholics who are in
Yep.
hiding would survive all these centuries and inspire and delight people in 21st century America?
Yep. Absolutely. And it's some of the most absolutely ravishing music we have. Yes.
It is. I love Bird. I love Renaissance polyphony in general, and earlier stuff too, like you're doing. It's just
Yeah.
great. It's a rare opportunity. Will, what do you think of the space for this kind of music there at St. Peter's?
Well, I think it's great. I think that people can experience the music in different ways depending on where they're sitting. That's not going to come with any recommendation. But also, I'd love to speak with New York Polyphony when we rehearse with them the night of the concert, the afternoon of the concert, about having our choir sing from a kind of a hidden choir loft that we have when we sing our two choir piece by Johann Michael Bach that New York Polyphony suggested as a collaboration. We may have one of the groups kind of hidden away singing from the heavens as we sing "Hold Fast to What You Have" in
That's
German.
a
Yeah.
great idea. That's a great idea.
I love it. That's great.
I'm glad you're on board. We'll have to see if it's practical enough.
We often kind of joke that there are four members of the group, and the fifth member is the acoustic that we're singing in. And so we love when we can play with
Mhm.
the acoustic. And of course, every venue, every church, every concert hall is so different, and it's always the element that changes within a concert. So we love to explore the different possibilities in that way with wherever we're singing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
We're very excited.
It sounds like a terrific concert. Will, give us the details again on this.
Yeah, so 7 p.m. January 21st. It's the Wednesday night. A lot of church choirs have rehearsals on Wednesday nights or Thursday nights. We think it's a great chance for a church choir to take off for enrichment and come join us for this free concert. And the program we've discussed somewhat. I think that's one of the greatest details. I think it's really very special to hear this music performed live and shared live. I think it's going to really transform people's evening and month and year to get to hear this.
Rare opportunity, and so great that St. Peter's is becoming a venue for great music too. I hope you have many more concerts in the future to
We
come.
do too. Thank you.
Will Breytspraak, Director of Music at St. P. I hope I pronounced it right.
Yes.
Director of Music at New York Polyphony, and Nicolette Lausch, who does great work for the Hungry there, and Andrew Fuchs, tenor, and Stephen Caldicott Wilson, tenor, both members of the fabulous New York Polyphony Quartet of Male Voices. Thank you all for joining me today on the KC Arts Beat Report.
Thank you for having us. Our pleasure.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
And until next time, this is Patrick Neas.